What's up, everybody? It is Great Lakes Hot Takes episode 8. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for tuning in. Make sure if you are here with a hot take that you are in the Discord and you type it up in the takes channel. And we will probably bring you on to chit chat with us later. But anyway, to introduce my guest tonight, or no, first we'll introduce the co-host. I was gonna call you a guest, but actually you've been leveled up to co-host. How you doing, Booker?
I'm doing pretty well, KJ. As interim co-host, no one can replace lunges.
Yeah, right. And tonight our actual guest is Anthonyisntcool from Michigan. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm good. I'm doing good tonight. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Is it storming over by you?
Yeah, it started
Okay.
storming like right when I got home half an hour ago. So
Yeah, I warned Booker, like, maybe the power will just go out during this, so who knows? We'll see.
I'm excited for it, honestly.
Yeah.
We'll cut the interview early. There you go.
Yep.
If the takes are bad enough, we'll cut it. See.
So for those of you that don't know, Anthony is a PR player here in Michigan, Cloud main. He's pretty sick at the game. So we're just gonna do a little interview with him, ask him a couple questions so you guys can get to know him. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll just start from the top. How did you get into Smash, Anthony?
uh, I got into Smash because my brother would always he would like I don't know he would ask me to play with him all the time or whatever. So I just started playing Smash or whatever with him, and he'd always beat me. He was really cocky about it. Like I'm not gonna lie, he was kind of a jerk. Like he was kind of a jerk the way he would talk to me. Like when he would beat me, like I didn't play this game and he was like a jerk. So I'm like whatever. Like I wanted to start playing this game and beat him. So like I got my own Switch or whatever, and I kept on playing him, and then I started beating him, and he would like get really angry, and then he stopped playing with me after I started beating him, and I was like whatever, like I'll just keep on playing, I guess, because it's kind of fun. But like my brother doesn't play with me anymore, so
That's funny. I have a very similar origin story. There's nothing worse than losing to your brother. So like that's the real
and he's
grind.
a
It's
jerk
just
about
like
it too.
yeah. And like because like you can't get away from that because he's at the dinner table taunting you. You know, like it's different from losing to somebody at a local where you just like whatever and not gonna see that dude for another week or
Yeah, I
whatever.
can go home now.
It's a
um.
really spite's a really powerful motivator, honestly.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So I personally know that you're quite a bit of a Wi-Fi warrior. But what was your first tournament outside of Wi-Fi?
It was I forgot what it was called. What was the one in
I think I was there. The
yeah,
Oak
you were
Smash.
there. Yeah, oh, it was an O Smash.
And do you remember how you did at that one?
I did all right. Like I lost to Brandon. It was like round three or something. I got reverse three stacked. It was sad. Like I was messing him up, and like everyone was crowding around and watching me, and then he just reverse three stacks me. He actually reverse six stacks me. I get three stacked the next game,
Oh no, he
and
got
then
the download.
yeah, and oh man, I remember this. Dude, I love Superhero. He's such a nice guy, but at my first local, like Superhero like raged. He like threw like he I don't know if he like threw his controller, but he like slammed it or something. And then I like afterwards I had to play him, and I was like after like seeing someone rage at my first local, I'm like I don't know what he's gonna do if I beat
You're
him.
like, is this guy
Eh,
gonna punch me after if I beat him or something?
no, I actually beat him. I actually beat him too, and it was really stupid. I made a huge comeback, and he was really cool about it. He was really nice.
Yeah,
Um,
Superhero's a great guy.
yeah, he is nice. So. I ended up beating him, and I was really happy with that. And then I lost to Linus after
Mm.
that. It was
So
it was kind of stupid.
even at your first tourney, you lost to two PR players. Interesting. That-
Yeah,
that's not a feat. We talked about this, I think, with one of the other people that came on. But um, like the old story is like you used to think you were good, and then you went to a local and you lost to everybody. But because of like the Wi-Fi era, you like lots of people get to skip the O2 experience and can just come in and start messing people up. So you're lucky that you were never labeled an O2er, Anthony.
people didn't think I was great. I heard from Yoder that they were gonna see me like 40th there or whatever. and he like convinced them to give me like the 17th or like 13th seed or something after that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna push into this, but now that you've already brought it up, because like I think it was either your second or third tourney was back to Smash, and
That was like
we
my
have like
fourth.
okay, yeah. And we have like a TO Discord, and I like posted the seeding in there. And I think I had you seated like 14th or something, and everyone in the Discord was just trash talking me about it. So we lowered your seed to like 25 or something, and then you got 7th, and I was like, "See, nobody believes in him." And still
I
to
won a
this
local right
day,
before that too. I
yeah.
beat Goma and Cork.
Yeah, and still to this day, I would say it's a problem. I I think after this PR season, things might change. We'll see. But yeah, how do you feel about it? Does it grind your gears? I know sometimes you tweet about it, but how do you
That
really
one
feel?
tweet, my like, how do I feel about my seeding?
Yeah, like you're like the way people perceive you within the scene, I guess.
I don't know. I feel like most people don't think I'm like great. I understand why, because I don't get like huge wins. Like I never beat like Zanotto or whatever before Bahamut. Well, I never beat him, but I've never gotten like any good wins. Like I beat Low One. He's a really good win, but like that's the only guy I've ever beaten really.
Hmm.
So I feel like I don't know. And the best I ever did at a regional was like seventh. But even then, if I get like seventh at regionals, I feel like I should like be like a top 20 seed still if I can like consistently top eight like regionals.
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know.
your first season, I think you top eighted every regional that you attended.
I went to like two or three.
Yeah, it was like
I think
Graveyard, Back to Smash, and something else. And I think you top eighted all three of them. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. Like this has happened, I think, with a couple of players in our scene that have kind of had breakouts post quarantine, where it kind of feels like they have to prove a lot more. Where other players will get like their default high seeding for a tournament or whatever, because they're like a name that people recognize and everything, or they have like a history of like that people think of when they're like, okay, this player is gonna do good. Where like you and Quark, for example, Quark was getting shafted for a while too, in seeding when he was also just blowing up everybody. Uh, but yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I think there's like this perception too of, I don't know, the post quarantine players, that you had these old heads that were still in charge of a lot of the seeding scores, right? And they don't that they didn't put a lot of stock into some of these like younger guys coming into the space, even though they were getting PR wins. They're like, oh, maybe it's a one off because they've been playing online for so long, and it's just, if the top guy's gonna bounce back. But I think we found out pretty quickly that consistency is gonna be coming from playing online a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Anthony. I guess. How do you feel like playing online helps you play offline? How do you feel about it now that you've started playing offline?
I mean, I haven't really been playing or like practicing online as much anymore because it's
Mm.
like, uh, I don't know. Honestly, I have more fun playing at locals. It's kind of boring to like grind online. I'll do it maybe like once a week or something, or like once every 2 weeks. But it's not that fun too. But it is good. I mean, I think like if you play, because I mean, like it's not like I ever played offline before. Like going into my first tournament, I would consider myself like a PR level player, like my first local, and that was just from playing online for like a year. Like I played
Mm-hmm.
for like a year and like a couple months. Like I wasn't even a year and a half into the game, and I was like a PR player,
Yeah,
or
because
maybe it was 2 years.
I know you
I don't
weren't there
know.
right at the beginning of like the Wi-Fi era, at least not at STD.
I started playing February 2020 was when I got my, or yeah, February 2020 is when I got my Switch.
So like right at the beginning of lockdown, what a blessed time to get a Switch.
Yeah. Well, I got my Switch for Christmas. I got Smash for February, so I didn't really play
Hmm.
my Switch before that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like one of your right towards the end of the Wi-Fi era, where you get the nickname Big Tony from, you beat Waddy in like a Wi-Fi set, and I know Wi-Fi results, they're not necessarily like the Bible or anything, but it was, to me, it was indicative that like, hey, this kid's got it. Like he's got something going on here, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people don't give a lot of credit for Wi-Fi wins. I feel like most people just say like, oh, it's Wi-Fi. What I don't know. I feel like Wi-Fi wins mean a lot. Like maybe Waddy wasn't trying as hard as because he went pit or whatever. But if you beat like Spago or like MKLeo online, like that's still something to be proud of. Like you're like not anyone can just beat MKLeo even if he's like on Wi-Fi playing Byleth or whatever. Like I think it means something more than
What
people would like to admit.
Yeah, like, but the thing is, like, one-off wins is one thing, but like consistently, like how you were kind of like you were finishing pretty high on any Wi-Fi bracket that you played in, and I think like if you can, obviously like there's lag and moves come out wrong and people SD
Yeah.
from Wi-Fi stuff. So like you can win one-off sets, but if you show like a level of consistency even on Wi-Fi, I think it can be pretty indicative of how good you're doing. What do you think, Booker?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think consistency actually hits it right on the head. Wi-Fi wins get a lot of flack because of, they see a random person whose name they've never seen before suddenly take a win, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Wi-Fi is just useless." But I think you're perfect in saying like we can see what the consistent Wi-Fi players are doing offline, right? Like Anthony,
Yeah. We've
and just
had a lot of cases of Wi-Fi warriors blowing up now.
mhm.
So
Yeah, no, the consistency is really where we're seeing how important it was to be able to play, right? Players even like Skittles, right? I would say a known player pre-quarantine got significantly more of a following because of his ability to uh, be so consistent online. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with Anthony that like that Wi-Fi carries over more than people want to admit.
yeah, definitely. So back to more of the in-person space. How did you feel about your win over Toast at Bahamut?
I think I mean I feel like that was cool. Like I think it was cool beating like a top I don't know what you call him. I think he's a top player. I don't care. He's a top player.
I
I think it
think
was
he
cool.
got in the what are they? I don't remember what they call that zone, like outside of the
Area
PGR.
51. Yeah.
Yeah, Area 51. I think he was Area 51 for this
Yeah,
season.
he was.
Yeah.
I would call him a top player. He's really good. I don't know. It was cool. I always wanted to get like a big win like that at a tournament and have my whole region pop off for me. So I thought that was cool that I did it at a tournament where I was seeded to barely make it out of pools.
Yeah, again the like seeded 20 something and then in the what did you give third there, I think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get mad at the seeding because like I kind of understand it, but like
Yeah, and
so
we've talked about it enough.
yeah, I think it's funny though, like crying about seeding. Like I don't know, even if I did bad, it would have been funny.
Mhm. Um so yeah, who else did you got a couple big wins at that. Well, the other wins are Michigan wins, but who
No, I
else
beat
did you beat?
Doorstop. I mean, it's his
Oh,
PT.
okay.
I don't know like if his PT counts or much. I mean, I think he plays PT a
No,
lot.
he said that he uses both PT and ZSS. Like he considers them both mains. So that's
Mm.
definitely
Yeah, I
a
think he
valid win.
he played PT versus MKLeo, so I'd hope that he would like play that character seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
his PT
So
was pretty good. I just feel like with his, I don't know. I feel like when people like even Toast went Roy against me, like I don't get that honestly. Why? I mean, I know it's a bad matchup, but like still, I don't know why people will like switch off and stuff like that. Like I don't know. That's like it doesn't make sense to me sometimes. I guess. I mean, maybe because I don't play multiple characters, but like I feel like a ZSS would have messed me up probably. Like I went game three with Andrew T. I don't think game three was super close, but like still, if Andrew T can take games off with me, like I feel like Doorstop would have messed me up.
well, that's just the power of your influence. You've got people afraid to play their mains against you. They're like they you shake them up enough that they're like I gotta hit him with a curveball, and then the curveball doesn't work either.
Yeah. I
Um,
do feel like he outplayed or he didn't outplay me, but he cheesed me every stock. Like with that first game, I got like gimped 3 times, and like it was dumb. I was kind of I kind of thought I was gonna lose. I was like, "There's no way I win this if he's doing this to me." Like I've never played someone that does that. That just tries to gimp you every stock with Squirtle.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember the set in detail enough, but yeah. Uh was he like trying
It
to
was
water
fun.
gun you? I guess like throw you off
No,
stage and water gun or what?
he would just do like grab combos and stuff and like back air me, or just do moves to hit me off stage, and then he would try to make like a read or like down tilt me at ledge or whatever to 2 frame. He wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
really water gun. He's not really that good with that move, but he was good at doing everything else. Like I don't
Gotcha.
think he killed me with any other Pokemon game one when I lost to him.
Mm. Um. So aside from running rapid at Bahamut, you also went to Riptide. How did you feel about your first time at a major?
I think it was fun. I had a good time. It was nice meeting people.
Yeah,
Um,
did you get any good practice with any out of state people?
Not really. I tried. I mean, I money matched Zamba. That I didn't learn anything. Like he messed me up, so it's not like I learned much. I tried to play with people, but I ended up mostly just playing with like Advo and Brandon. So I didn't get
Gotcha.
like a ton of out of state practice, but I'll try to at Riptide or at a big house.
Gotcha,
Like it's hard
gotcha.
sometimes too when like you don't know a lot of the people in LAN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
not a
Yeah,
lot of
being a
people know me.
relatively newer name, I'm sure it can be hard to find people.
Yeah, but
Um,
in the main
oh,
bracket.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I didn't really do good in the main bracket, which it's a little upsetting. But I mean, like I didn't expect to do great. I was seeded to lose to Nan, so I was like hyping myself up. I'm like, I'm gonna beat Nan this time. Like I'm not gonna lose to him. And then he loses to this little random Sora player, and then he was seeded to go like 1 and 2 or I don't even know, but his name was Sultan, and he beat Nan. So I'm like, oh, I have a free win to get out of pools now. Like this guy, there's no way this guy's good. Like Nan probably just like was not playing good today, and then I lose to him too, and I'm just like, damn, like this guy was pretty good after all. And he says after, oh yeah, I practice with Scar all the time. I'm from Iowa, so he practices with a Joker Cloud main. So like he's good at these matchups, and he's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
Sora.
he
Like
had your number. He was like
yeah,
specifically
but
ready for
he was
you.
really good. I didn't
Yep.
give him enough credit for that. He was a really good player.
That was like Sultan's breakout too. He was already set to probably make Iowa PR, but that got the Riptide run definitely cemented it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
when you're like,
actually spent some time talking about Sultan on the Riptide episode last week.
dang, yeah, he's pretty good. I'll give him that. He was. I do have to work on the Sora matchup though. That is one of my worst matchups. I lost to low Sora at like a yeah downriver a couple weeks ago, and it's good, but like I just like I hate Sora. I'm bad at the matchup.
Interesting. Um
It's
so oh,
it's
go ahead.
such like a one-dimensional matchup, so I definitely understand. You gotta
Yeah,
have the mental fortitude to beat these Soras.
yeah, it's annoying.
So Anthony, what are your goals in the competitive scene? Either near future or a long shot.
Mm, I didn't really have much goals until I feel like I started doing better recently and going to majors. So first off, I want to make top five this season. I think that's obviously like I think most people know that's one of my goals is to finally get top five. Because last season I was people were like, oh my God, like Anthony's really good, like he's messing up Blow, like he beat him he beat him 4 times in a row at two SmackDown Detroits. Like people were calling me top five, and I started doing awful after that. I like got like 10th at the season after going from like I was being considered for like fourth in the state, and I went to 10th.
Yeah, I
So
think you had a Wolverina or something where you got like
I got
17th.
17th.
Yeah, that was
I
pretty
lost
rough.
to Raymond and Nan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. But yeah, I want to get top five. I also think I want to try getting like on like Orion rank or whatever, like an A or whatever. Like it's like a top 150 ranking or whatever. So like I think that would be cool
Mhm.
to get on that. I don't think it's like impossible, but I think it would be hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Orion Rank is a friend of the show, so
Yeah,
Mm.
we've
oh
shouted him out a couple
we're a big
times.
fan.
Yeah. Um But yeah, I think I mean, you saw my predictions that I tweeted out. I think you're very close to top 5, if not already there.
Yeah,
But you know, you could push yourself over the edge if you came and won Get Cooked this weekend.
I want to try to go. Is Dufault going? Is he going to the tournament?
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
Dufault is going. Oh, you want to go
Oh man,
specifically to blow him up, or what?
no. I want to go if he's going, because
Because you
if
gotta
Dufault
stop
is
him from
done, I'm
winning.
screwed.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if Dufault's not going, I'll just not go because like I don't want to risk doing bad.
I see. I see. It's a calculated move. I see.
Yeah, I'll try going, but like it's scary when there's a lot on the line like that. Like I can always get third at get cooked, or I can lose at pools again,
Yeah, you never know.
which
Some
I did at
random
my last.
Yoshi or something might get you.
Or Mr. Monday shine spiking me at 0. That was sad. I was really upset. I wasn't upset. I was just sad
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that. Like,
Like. I mean, you showed up late, so like you had to play, no warm
yeah,
up or anything, and then Monday just got you.
I made sure not to do that at Bahamut. I was trying to get games in before I played. I learned my lesson not to just go straight into a tournament and not play.
All
A good
right,
one to
and
learn in like
oh
a low stress environment, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and the last question for the interview portion, what's your proudest moment in Smash so far? We probably already covered it, but I'll let you say it.
I mean, obviously it would be beating Toast, but I feel like if I had to say a moment that wasn't Toast, I think it would be when I won my first the Ann Arbor tournament when I reversed 3-0 Goma Kempi. That was really cool because I wasn't really considered for PR before that. Like people thought I was like an okay Cloud main or whatever. I had a few PR wins, but I went to the tournament and I think I beat like Cork and Goma Kempi. But I reversed 3 0'd him, and game 4 I reversed 3 stocked him. So I made like a pretty nice comeback to
You
beat
did
him in
the
Grand.
Leo clutch, game
Yeah,
4 reverse 3 stock into the 3
yeah, it was,
0.
it was pretty cool. I was proud of myself after I won like $120 too or whatever. Like that felt really nice for just starting out going to tournaments. And it was like 50 people too, so I got on the the panda graphic.
Oh yeah, yeah, for that win in the area that week. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was proud of myself after that.
Okay, so we do actually have somebody calling in for with a take. So I'm gonna bring them on right now. Usually we would sound check them offline, but Lunges isn't here to do that, so we're just gonna bring them on and hope their mic works.
Fingers
All right,
crossed.
Goat, you are here in the call. You can unmute.
All right. So my take was that the new summon voting is better and it's more healthy for the scene. I also did post some tweets like in the Discord. One from Lavish, which said how much money it took and how predatory it was. That much money had to go into it just for him to get there. Another one from Esam who has gone to Summit, but he said that it's just an unhealthy amount of money that's going into it, and it's best. It's better like distributed elsewhere in the scene to have like more balanced. Um, but having like more balanced like cash flow for not just top players but like the scene as a whole.
All
It's
right.
always interesting.
Yeah, go ahead, Booker.
Yeah.
Anthony and I have dominated the conversation so far, so you can start off.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's always interesting when this stuff gets brought up because it's the meme at this point when we talk about raising venue rates and people get really upset about that. I don't necessarily think that it's like as true as it used to be, but for some reason, whenever Summit voting comes around, everybody and their dog wants to open up their pocketbook and give it to the amorphous blob of top players that show up. I don't know. I, I've seen the discourse about people wanting to have like they're so mad that there's significantly less money in the Summit, but I I think the weird parasocial relationship that we've created with the summit as an event is just like strange in general. And I've had people say that this is the best summit experience they've had, and the prize money had nothing to do with it. So like, I think you're in the right realm. And we should be looking towards more infrastructural investment because just throwing money at the summit people doesn't really do us
Yeah.
anything. You know.
A lot of like the negativity came from I think Light and I think a couple of people who were there tweeted out how there wasn't like how there was like a 100,000 like 100K drop off from prize money from Summit 4 to Summit 5. how like they obviously would have really appreciated having that money because I don't know like Light obviously got second in that event, but I don't know, man. It's like one of those things where like there's already a lot of money there. I think it's like a 15K prize pot, which is still really good for which is still insanely high for an invitational in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like my main problem with it is that it's just sucking a lot of like money from a lot of people, and it's like it just doesn't feel right. I guess it doesn't feel healthy, and also like the voting process itself felt very volatile, where it's just constant spirit bombs of like 20K votes or 30K votes, which added up to like thousands of dollars like each time there's a spirit bomb hold. Like it just snowballed into this very unhealthy mess, in my opinion. Like I think other people like will disagree, but I don't know.
What are your thoughts, Anthony?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of people's argument for the new voting system being really good is that this is like the best summit ever. Like there was, tons of top players. It was a good competitive environment. But I do think it kind of sucks that Proto Banham, what did he only win like $10,000? Less than that? I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like he
didn't
should
look
have
at
won
the
more.
prize.
He definitely should have won more though. Like I don't know. I think that sucks. He didn't win a lot of money, and he beat like 6, 7 top players or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how many sets he won, but he won a ton of sets. And I mean, obviously that's a lot of money, however much he won. But I don't know. I feel like it should have been more, but I don't know how they would get more because at the same time, I do agree that money should be going elsewhere, not to like one tournament. Because I feel like some of it was kind of cheap with the way they handled things before.
Yeah. So my personal take on the new system is that I think a lot of people that campaigned didn't really understand the meta of it. And I think really only Myron took advantage of it and was like the only person that really juiced the prize pool, that like all of the other people, like I think they tried to campaign in an old style way, and that isn't how the new summit system works. So I think that they should just stick with this system and see how it goes in like 2 or 3 more, and if it needs adjustments from there. But I think people will come up with more creative ways to campaign and get money into the system to get more votes, because people definitely want to get voted in. But the only person that had like a campaign that actually got the votes was Myron. Um, so I think it's just about changing your approach, because lots of people just, I mean, like, it all happened in one day, and it was just like, I don't know, people were like, I'm streaming and don't sub to me, but go donate $5 to voting instead. And it's like, I don't know, like, you got to come up with a better way to get people to put money towards you, you know? But I agree with all the stuff that Goat said, that like the old system was like, it just like I don't know, like robbery. Like I saw
Yeah.
some tweets from minor regions. I think like an Australian player was like, we would never put somebody in Summit because it would take so much money from our whole community. And then if they didn't make it in, what would even the point be? Because it would be like, why would we vote for anyone else here? We're only participating to try and get our person in anyway, you know?
Yeah, and that even makes sense like Europe, because Europe has never gotten someone in the summit besides Gluto. And
Mm-hmm.
Gluto's invited in every time because they've never been able to vote in like Rafla or Siski or whoever it was and wanted to vote in too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do think that no matter what, I don't think they can just revert back to the old system. And there could be arguments that maybe there's a in between somewhere, or they could like loosen it up a little bit, maybe make it so you can put in $50 instead of $5 or something. But
Mm.
I definitely don't think just going back to the old system because Light wants more money makes sense. But I do agree with what Anthony said, that I think because it's an invitational, like Summit is like a lot harder to win than any given random like major, you know? Like very few tournaments have that level of people there besides like your
Yeah, it's
Genesis
all super
or like,
concentrated because it's just 16 top players instead of like bracket where you maybe only playing 5 top players to get the top 8.
yeah, exactly. I mean, MK Leo got ninth, you know, Like
Mm.
he doesn't. It was and like it wasn't against slouches. He got ninth against Tweak, and I don't remember who sent him to losers, but like
He
that's
started
how
in
stacked
losers,
it
right?
was. Who sent him?
He
Yeah,
started
he
in
did start
losers.
in
Oh, he
losers.
Yeah,
started in losers. Yeah, but I
I know
forgot who he
Riddles beat
lost
him. I
to.
can't remember who else beat him.
Yeah. But anyway, he lost to Tweak to get ninth. You know, that's what I'm saying. Is like that tournament is so stacked that it does feel like the prize pool should be bigger. But I think just like vacuuming money out of these scenes, like trying to get players in, is not the way to do it.
Ideally, I think you could find like some kind of middle ground, or maybe like you cap off the prize pool like 50K or 40K or something like that.
I
But
like
just much stops like the absurd number of like needing like $100,000 to get in or whatever.
yeah, their changes were like pretty drastic, and I still think like I'm fine with it, but I think like they mostly just needed to address spirit bombing and maybe just like change the voting system so like you can only drop 50 votes per 4 hours or something. And if you want to vote in somebody and put in $1,000, then you can do it, but you got to do it over a week, you know? You can't just like everybody can't just hide their money.
I think this is they're going in the right direction, but like you said, it is going to take some fine tuning over the next like 2 or 3 summits. And I think
Yeah.
like maybe at summit 7 or 8, they'll have like a really good system in place that everyone's happy with. And I think that's what we're going to get to. And I hope that they don't ditch what they did with this summit and go back to the old system.
Yeah.
We'll see. The next summit isn't going to be till like April or something. It's a semi-annually series. So.
All right. Anybody else got anything to say on this before I kick Goat out of here?
No, I think Goat, as always, has good takes. So
Goat with another W take. Congratulations, Goat.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, you guys have a good day, man.
Yep, you too. Okay, we don't have any other callers, so that means we oh wait, Booker, what were the other things I wanted to talk about besides summit voting? Okay, this is a good one for you. How did you feel about the tiebreaker system? A lot of people were going off on Twitter about this, the tiebreaker system that Summit used.
are you asking me?
Yeah, you're the round robin
I
guy.
see, I see.
Defend the bracket you advocate
Yeah,
for.
no, I'm not defending Summit. Summit's dog water. They do this thing where they make the cardinal sin mistake of round robin, where they only let like 1 or 2 people get out in winner's side and do like the second and third person in losers or second through fourth. I don't know. It's dumb. It's bad. If you're going to be doing round robin, you got to do top 3 out. Otherwise, you end up in breaker situations like we saw. I'm not going to defend that. That was awful. Everybody who's clowning on the summit system are doing a good job on it, as far as I'm concerned. However, round robin shouldn't be taking strays. That's what I'll say.
Tony, how have you played in any round robin tournaments?
I did. It was like this small little. It was called like Bang's pop-up bracket or whatever. Um, I don't know. I feel like if I was in that position with the tiebreakers, I would if I was like if I should have like won and then I was in like Cosmos position or whatever, and then like lost. I would be annoyed. I mean, I think tiebreakers are stupid. Well, they're not stupid, but the way they did it is dumb. Like it lasted forever. There was like two, three tie. Was it 2 or 3 tiebreakers?
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, they just kept playing it. They ran into the problem where they wanted a definitive winner, and so they just keep playing until somebody loses, right? And it's just, I guess in something like Summit, you can afford to do that because you have so much time, but it's just not reasonable, especially if you're trying to have a bracket format that runs very similarly to the time frame that or that double elimination works at. Because let's be honest, most venues close at 11, right? Summit's
Yeah.
thankful that they don't close at 11, but yeah, no, it's bad.
Yeah. I also feel like it should have just gone to games. Like whoever like won the most games should have gotten the tiebreaker. Also, I I don't know. I feel like it's the whole system is stupid in itself though. Why do they have 2 round robins? Like that's stupid. Like I feel like I'm just watching people play like you could lose like 5 sets or whatever or however much it is and then still make it out into winners. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
sorry to cut you off. Cola, he lost every set on the first day, and then he made it out into
Yeah,
winners, and then he got to third place.
that's stupid. Like, why do they have two round robins? Like, what's the point? Like, just do one, or I don't know. I think that's stupid. That was annoying because it was fun to watch, but I'm watching it and I just like don't understand. I'm like why are we doing another round robin now? Like,
Yeah,
doesn't
I'll
add
be
up.
honest. I never watched the first day of Summit. I never watched
I'm not.
Prius.
I don't think I watch it next time.
Yeah,
Like everyone's tryharding, but do they even know like why they're tryharding? Like,
yeah, yeah. Because like I said, Cola still made it out into winners. So like, does it matter? Like, do any of those sets in the first round robin matter?
No, and this is ultimately why whenever I see a take that says, "Oh my God, MKLeo did bad at another summit," he's obviously not the uncontested number one. I have to chuckle because obviously Leo doesn't care much about Summit as other things. Because Summit, like the money, sure, but a player like Leo's not playing just for the money, right? And I think it's ridiculous to try to look at that, especially how many games that they're trying to make you play, right? On top of the what's on the line for each game, which is drastically different from one day to the next, to assume that the consistency of top level players are going to shine out, right? I
Hey,
think that's it's dumb. Bad
you're
takes.
you're talking to like number one Mango fanboy here, and Mango flops at Summit every year. I mean, except he won that one against Zane, but like almost always Mango goes to Summit to just hang out with people, and that's fine. He'll be having the hottest season coming to Summit and just flop, and it's like. That's just it is what it is. The tournament format does not benefit Mango if there's no crowd cheering for him. So
did he win last time,
yeah,
or did he
he
lose?
won Summit 11 or whatever for Melee. But like usually he loses them. Even if he's like number 1 going into the tournament, he loses Summit. He almost always looks awful at Summit. Um
Mm,
but uh the other thing that came up at Summit was the character counter pick on stage pick thing that was happening. And I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on that as well. We'll start with Anthony this time. What do you think? Do you know what we're talking about?
yeah, I know. Dude, I think it's stupid because I think when I play Cork at tournaments, he'll ask me what character I'm going or whatever, and I feel like that's how it should be. Like I don't think like he went like Kazuya. Like I don't know. It was stupid. You should have to say your character first if you plan on switching characters. Like I don't know why um he shouldn't get rewarded for playing two dumb characters. He should. I don't know. Myron was frustrated. I'd be frustrated too if I was in that position. He should say his character before Myron picks a stage. That's like the end of the story. I think like
Well,
it's
I know your opinion, but that's not what the rules state.
uh,
So, but I mean that's what we asked for. You know, what do you think, Booker? What do you think?
I saw some bad takes on this week. Some pretty bad takes, especially from like TOs who I do not understand where people are coming from. They're like, oh my gosh, this is just why you get the benefit of playing multiple characters. Ah, no, it's never been the case. As far as any of the events that I've personally ran, it's always been you need to also pick your character, like characters before stages. Um, People
Interesting.
are whether or not they adhere by that all the time. It's a hard it's a hard rule to just sit there and like enforce constantly, right? Because I'm not in everybody's ears. But that should be the standard. There's no reason to have stage before character. That's not how we did it in Smash 4, right? That's not how we did it even like day one. Day one tournaments that I participated in. There was like yeah, like the early tournaments. As soon as the game dropped, it was still character before stage. Like you had to declare it.
So, do
Um,
you guys think that I should go on to the Big House rule set right now and make this little change?
yes. Oh, obviously. Like I think
if
it's
I play
ridiculous.
if I play a Cola and I lose to his Kazuya after like messing up his Steve, I'm gonna be pissed and I'm gonna blame you. You're gonna
Okay.
be cheering for me and watch me get zero to death by his Kazuya,
Oh no.
and you're gonna know it's your fault.
But I can't just unilaterally change that. That's actually
Yeah,
part of the
I
site that I
know.
can't access. But that is interesting to hear that both of you guys think that we should do characters before stages, and I also agree. Maybe that's something I'll work on having Michigan at least change after the big house. Because I was asking the TOs about it in the chat or in the private chat earlier. But I also agree. I think like letting the winner get character counter pick is like very weird and just shouldn't be a thing, I guess. So I'm also, we all agree on that, I guess, that we don't need to talk about it any further. But yeah, you should have to lock in your character first. So I think that rounds out all of our summit conversation. Anthony, do you have any hot take of your own?
Hot take on my own. I don't know if this is because like I'm a kid and I'm like not grateful for what people have done in our scene, but I feel like majors have to be cheaper. Like I paid $110 to enter Big House, and I think that's ridiculous. Like I don't know. I know the venue costs a lot, and I'm glad they're doing what they're doing, and they have to pay a lot of people. But like when only like when it's like 100 for the venue, and that just it seems ridiculous to me. Like
Listen,
I
if
don't
you would
know.
have signed up 4 months ago, it would only been $80, buddy.
$80 is still a lot. That's still a lot of money. Like that's I don't know. 80 is a lot for one tournament, and obviously the experience is worth it. But I don't know. Maybe
Well,
if
you got to think
maybe
about
we'll
how
make.
it's a 3 day event. So
I
if you
know.
divide it across 3 days, like that's it's not
Yeah.
$80 for a single day event. So like if you think about like Mirage, you probably paid 20 to get into that, I think.
I
So
I got a free entry and I couldn't even go to it. I was
oh
sad.
yeah. Well, anyway, think about like a monthly. You probably pay like $20 for those. So
Yeah.
this is like just slightly more expensive than 3 monthlies back to back to back. You know what I
The
mean?
difference is though is that I might be able to win money from a monthly, and also I think I don't know. I maybe I just wish top players got more money because I feel like they don't get a lot of money for winning like a major or like top aiding it. So
So you're in a podcast with two TOs right now, and you're saying that we need to lower the venue fee and increase the bracket fee, huh?
no,
Interesting. All
No,
right,
no, you know
Anthony.
what?
It was
You know
nice
what? Hold
talking to
up.
you.
gonna say
Hold up,
I
KJs.
was
I'm
not gonna win it.
actually I think Anthony is right.
I was gonna say though, I feel like if it's so high, I think maybe top eight should somehow get more money. Not like first. I think first gets enough, but like eighth, when you get like 50 or 100 or whatever, I think that's shit. I don't think that's fair. That's stupid. Like you got eighth, you beat like two top players, like you beat a like I don't know. It's dumb. You shouldn't get like
Heck
100
yeah.
for eighth.
No, speak your truth. You are so right. Anthony has the best takes as well. Can we give him the role? That that I hand these out like candy because people come on here with the fantastic takes. You know, KJ, I'm gonna stop you right there. Whatever you're gonna say, I'm gonna hold
No,
you up real quick.
I've got nothing else to say. Go ahead, Booker.
Anthony, you are so right. You know what? You hit it right on the head. Ultimately, when you're looking at a monthly, right, and compared to a major, for you as a player who's not considered like the tippy top of players, right? I think that you can
Yeah,
get a really deep bracket run, but getting top eight's going to be a bit of work, right? The cost proposition doesn't make sense, and I'll extrapolate this further, where you have your standard 021 tours, right? The majority of your player base. I mean, what are they paying for, right? It's obviously not to get the money there. Um,
yeah,
no, and it's ultimately when you boil down a major experience when you're as a competitor, right? You boil down a major experience because you've been the Riptide, right? You saw how that
yeah.
ran.
The experience was definitely worth it. Like
Right. They had the extra stuff. You know, you had overnight, you had additional brackets you could do, right? And I don't know the whole thing with Big House, but generally speaking, I think most majors aren't worth attending because as like a competitor, what are you getting out of it, right? I could go to a weekly, I go to a monthly, right? Still get okay competition. I'm only gonna go, 1, 2, 2, 2 anyway. What's the point, right? $110 is a hefty price tag. I think you're right. I think that I come at it from a different angle, right? I don't necessarily think that we need to um like severely decrease the price, but I think that if we're
I don't think
expecting
it
that
needs to
sort
be
of
decreased
price,
that much, but a
right?
little bit.
Well, I think that ultimately the product that you're getting is not worth the price tag that you're putting onto it, and that we should be providing as TOs, we should be providing a better product for the players, 100%. And this is why, KJS, we should be running round robin pools at all majors. You see,
Booker
right
has
on the
said
money.
this exact thing
See?
at every single episode of the show. You stepped right on his trap, Anthony.
No, Anthony's right. I mean, this is something though that I've been seeing with a lot of players from the post quarantine area, right? People who played a lot during quarantine or like really got into the scene afterwards. Monthlies are dead. Like the concept of monthlies as they used to be back in the day, even before quarantine happening, are gone. They're completely gone, especially in smaller regions where I'm going to be getting the same amount of people from basically from my monthly as my weekly. Why would I run a monthly when it's the same quality product, right? Same tournament. Most of the times it's the same venue, but I want to expect people to pay $20, $30 more. You know, that same thing applies to majors. Sure, we've been seeing a renaissance in majors. You know, the summer of majors back because everybody wants to run a tournament. But ultimately, I think it's harmful for the scene when we try to extrapolate so much money out of providing a bad product. Our O tours and one tours don't want to play. They don't want to come to majors to play. They come
Oh
to
yeah,
majors to hang out
Yeah.
with people. You know.
let me tell you, I loved Smash and Splash. I went every year because I'm like a water park fanatic, and Smash and Splash is pretty cool. Not to dog on the TOs or anything, but it's one of the worst run tournaments I ever went to. Like every year, pools would start super late. There's like everything was like on fire the whole time. And the first year I went to Smash and Splash, I had 2 car pools of 12 people, like total. Uh, and then by the third year I went to Smash and Splash, it was like 3 people wanted to go with me. Everybody was like, no, it's not worth it anymore. So I like just you know, you go to one event and if it doesn't live up to the hype, like why did I spend this money like I've almost a music festival price to like go to a like tournament where I had 10 a.m. pools that didn't start until noon and then they didn't finish until 1:30 and I like didn't eat breakfast or lunch, you know. That was specifically happened to one of my friends. But yeah, I can see that. I know what you're talking about, Booker. Okay, so we have one more caller, but he's icing me out right now. He was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come on. Let me use the bathroom. Oh, I need to power on my PC. Hey, do you have a USB-C cable to plug in my Pro controller?" So we're just stalling for a minute for him to come on. Okay, he's in the callers channel. I'm bringing him on right now. Okay, Druku, you should be able to talk.
All right, can you hear me well?
Yeah, you sound good.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think it's very difficult, if not impossible, to single main and be consistent at the top level, unless if you're playing a top tier.
Okay.
That's my hot take.
Well, we've got one solo main here. How do you feel about that, Anthony? Do you think that just having Cloud in your repertoire holds you back?
I think if you main like DDD or Bowser, or not Bowser, DDD or like a low tier, I don't think you have any shot of really doing that good at the top. But I think for like high tiers, I think you have to solo main. I don't agree with. I honestly, I was thinking of making this my hot take. I don't think you should main multiple characters. Like, it works out for a few people, like MKLeo, Proto Banham, but the majority of people, if you've noticed, they're all single like main characters. Like, and like I don't know, like I feel like people that pick up characters tend to focus less on their main and they get worse with them. So maybe your secondary will get as good as your main, but your main's gonna get worse now. So you're gonna have 2 characters that are really good, not one character that's like top level. If that makes sense, it's hard to explain, but I don't really agree with maining one character, honestly. Like Spargo, I would consider Spargo a solo main. I think for most matchups, his Pirate Mithra does worse than his Cloud. I think it's lacking in most matchups. I think he does fine with Cloud. I mean, maybe he's not a solo main, but I think he would be better if he was one.
Yeah, I think it's just really a consistency thing that keeps players from doing that. Because I think there's always that one matchup that you will just have to outplay them in order to do well. And it can be very, very hard when you're getting into that higher echelon of play, you know.
I will say I know he hasn't like won one yet, but like Light is obviously the counter example to this, that he plays Fox into, like, he plays like against Meister, who's like a -2 matchup for Fox, and wins that, like, and
That's
makes it.
-2.
Yeah, it's one of his worst matchups.
I didn't know
If
it
you
was
think
that
Fox
bad. I thought it
has
was
like
even.
it's like one of his worst matchups. But we don't have to talk about Fox matchup chart. But Light wins a lot of bad matchups with Fox just by pressing more buttons than his opponents and being sick.
He really just outplays them.
Yeah. So I think, like, I don't know. I kind of am on both sides of this. I like the idea of being able to counterpick, because I do think, like, especially with Steve coming up, I just think, like, you need to play a character that can actually fight Steve on Steve's level. So if your character doesn't have if your character doesn't have the tools for that, they might be able to beat 90% of the cast, but then you're gonna play against Dinkelheimer Schmidt or whatever his name is right now, and you're just gonna lose, you know. But, like, also I definitely see what Anthony's saying, that, like, having the, like, refinement and, like, knowledge of everything with your main character definitely can make a difference in a lot of matchups. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Because I feel
also
like if you're
think, like,
playing, sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was saying, like, if you're playing a character like Pyron Mithra, you probably have like 3 characters that you have to worry about. Where, like, it really, you can just really refine your character.
Mhm.
But I feel like if you're one of those characters, like, in that high tier range that has like those 12 matchups, that's just like, damn, you know, like, if I just had this other character, you know, it could help. And I mean, yeah, I could see it going either way, you know.
I have my old man take, because I remember back in my day, I remember when Ultimate first dropped and we theorized that because of so many characters in the game, that late stage meta is just going to be counterpicking each other. I don't think it's going to actually get there, but I think regardless of how many characters you play, if one of them is not a top 10 character, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know. I watch people, like, lose to Rob, and then I just think about how, like, I don't know, maybe if they just picked Falco, like, they'd beat him. But do you want to train up a Falco just for playing Rob? I don't know.
Or you could just use the gyro. A lot of people don't use the gyro. I've talked to a lot of Robs about this, and, like, you can really just, if you learned how to use the gyro against Rob, you would win in so many matchups.
I don't want to get hung up on Rob. I just brought him up as a specific example. But yeah.
I will say this: if you're picking up a character for one matchup, that is maybe the stupidest thing you can ever do, and I will immediately think you're an idiot. Like,
listen,
I'm sorry.
You just press Reflector and up tilt with Falco. I'm telling you, it's easy. Just pick him up.
If you tell me to train with a Falco and get him to my Clouds level for one match, if anyone asks me, should I pick up a character for this matchup, I will probably laugh in your face. It's dumb. There's no. I don't think you should pick up a character at all. Just play with your main and try to win the matchup.
I see. All right. I think we've talked about this enough. Druku, you got anything to say on the way out?
No, I think that's it. Have a good one, guys.
All right.
I'll
See you later, Drew.
See ya.
Okay, we're getting towards the end here, and as always, I didn't run my ads, although I did at least remember to bring up Get Cooked, so we're gonna do that really quick. If you are in the if you're in the Michigan area, you should come to Lansing this Saturday, September 24th, for Get Cooked 2. It's gonna be a blast. If you haven't signed up already, please sign up. It's only $10. It's a cheap tournament. It's gonna be fun. Please come. And then also the Big House. Last day to register, September 25th. That means you only have like 5 more days to register. So if you are not registered now, you better do so. Big House, it's, you know what it is. It's the big tourney. Happening in Detroit, Michigan. We got Therapy Dogs, 24-hour venue. Side events, Splatoon 3. They got chess.com as a sponsor, so there's chess boards. They're bringing in an arcade. It's gonna be a sick time. I'm gonna be TOing it, so I'll be there too. If you're a KJS fan, there isn't any out there, but if you are, yeah, come out to the big house.
I'm a KJS fan. What is this?
Thank you. They're few and far between. Crash is in the chat. He says he's a KJS fan too. Thank you, Crash. All right, Anthony.
I'm
Anything you want to say?
fan.
Thank you. Anything
I
you want
guess
to say
I'm a
on the
big
way out
KJS
here?
fan. That's what I want to say.
Big
And I
KJS
guess shout out to Onan because he told me to say that.
Okay, he told you to shout him out. Okay.
Actually, no. Stop seating me low. I did bad at Riptide, but actually no. Keep seating me low because then I think I'll play better if I'm seated low. I don't know. I feel like that makes me play better. So keep seating me low.
Yeah, it puts a chip on your shoulder. You know. Now you want to get those
Yeah.
wins. All right.
Well, also I have no pressure.
Yeah, Booker, you got anything to say before we cut it here?
No, it was a pleasure talking to you, man. It was. It's always interesting to hear people's how they got into their origin story, how they got into the scene, and what they're looking forward to in the future. So best of luck in your goals to get top 5 in Michigan. It's a tough state, but I think you can do it.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully this season I can do it because it'll be a lot harder next season.
Yeah, with all the college kids that are here now, like it's gonna be pretty tight. All right, anybody. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week, hopefully with another guest. Everybody, have a good night now.
Take care.